All right. So today I want to talk about how my inability to focus on the right things is one of the main reasons why all these various side hustles I've done have failed. And I'm in the situation that I'm in, which is staying home with the kids with a breadwinner wife with the purpose of, again, as I talked about yesterday, the idea is not to dwell on the past, just to moan about it, but I have to learn my lesson. I cannot attempt to do a new side hustle without figuring out why these old ones failed. And this idea of me having poor execution or not focusing on the same thing, on the correct things, is from a meta perspective of selecting the wrong like side hustle in general. But then once I'm in, putting all my effort and time into things that aren't moving the needle forward really are completely unnecessary for the step or the phase that I'm in. And so this all started yesterday. I was again trying to think of what can I do, and I had an idea. And so instead of just starting it or going straight to YouTube and getting sucked into some funnel, I decided, okay, well, I'm gonna just ask AI, because AI is, at least the AI itself is not going to sell me a program or a course on how to, enter this industry or how to be successful with the side hustle. So I asked it, and I was kind of going back and forth, and it's interesting because if you're creating a product, the process itself is kind of the same, right? Like you get the product that solves a problem, and then you gotta find customers. And in the past, I've kind of followed the Alex Hermosi approach of you kind of do it for free first to get proof of concept, testimonials, and then you charge for it. And so basically, what the AI was telling me was uh, kind of like the phased approach of how to actually launch this business, and it was completely different than what I had done for any of my businesses in the past. And it explicitly told me that you want to focus on very in the beginning just getting that first customer, not focusing on all the bells and whistles around your business, like the name and the logo and the website and having a business plan and doing all these things. Like, no, you just gotta have a good enough product and then get proof of concept first, so you're not spinning your wheels and wasting all this time on other stuff when there's no market fit for your product whatsoever. Nobody wants your product. And that is not what I've done in the past. And so I remember after this was like I was up so early yesterday. So this is me at like 4 o'clock in the morning talking to AI in my gym while I'm working out before I recorded my video. And so then I kind of talked to my wife about it a little bit later, and then all these I just remember my first thought about this new business idea was, well, I got to get a website. And then I started kind of going back in time to my past side hustles and how much time I spent on the website. Like one of the first side hustles I did was car detailing, and I spent, I mean, multiple weeks, not just like 8 hours a day, but like 5 6 hours straight working on my car detailing website. I had the exact same thing for when I was doing like a marketing agency in general, and then I changed to trying to do like a consulting. And for all of those, I spent the vast majority of the time that I was doing that side hustle was spent on building the website before I had any customers, before I even had really any product in a sense. I guess I kind of had a product for the car detailing, and then also for the the consulting I was doing, but that's because the consulting I was doing, I'd done it before for someone else, and so I kind of had like an idea of what I wanted to do. But like I focused all this time on the website, and then now I'm not doing it anymore, and so I've got these super in-depth, fancy websites that are completely useless that no one even looked at. No one even saw these websites at all, and so it wasn't like I was lazy in a sense of I wasn't putting any work. I had this idea of I want to be a car detailer. I want to start this marketing agency. I want to be a consultant. And then I just didn't do anything about it. Like I did something about it. I put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and the issue was it was all directed at things that didn't matter whatsoever, right? Whereas yesterday when I was talking to the AI, it said, okay, now that you have like this idea, just immediately get a list of businesses and then like pitch your product to them, which is something I could technically just do like today. Like I already have an idea of what I want to do. Maybe spend a couple hours at figuring out how to actually do it, but then start getting customers. As opposed to before, I would be, I would, like I remember for the marketing agency, I watched this video of step-by-step guy who started a marketing agency, thinking, oh, this guy wants to help me. This YouTuber wants to help me become a marketing. What a nice guy. Whereas in reality, obviously, I know this now, but at the time I for some reason didn't. It's just a funnel. Like they don't care about you or me learning how to run a marketing agency because and out of the bottom of their heart because they care about me. Like they want me to see this video and then try it on my own and then realize, oh, this is kind of hard. And then they pitch me their course of, we thought that video was good. Wait till you take my course. It'll teach you even more even more in depth on how to start a marketing agency. And then next thing you know, they've made their money off of you, and then they're good, right? And then but they know like you're most likely not going to be successful. Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought there, going down ranting about the YouTube university funnel hustle thing. But I guess the point is, I'm focusing on the wrong things when I'm starting this, and I cannot do that again if I'm going to do something new. And then from more of like a meta perspective of in the beginning focusing on the wrong things, like rushing into stuff. Like when I started looking at this AI business, I got so excited. I'm like, oh, I'm going to start. This is the business. This is it. And again, I've had these epiphanies in the past of this is it. But now I'm starting to recognize it's just shining object syndrome, where it's the prospect of this new thing is exciting. And that's how it's been for every new side hustle. All right, when I first got into car detailing, it was super exciting. And then I switched to something else because that was super exciting because it was new. And then I switched to something else because that was exciting. And then once it's no longer exciting, I stopped doing it. So that's kind of like what's sucking me into, from a meta perspective, focusing on the wrong thing is this idea of shining object syndrome, I guess. I mean, that's every single thing I've done. I am doing something else and I start, doom scrolling through YouTube and Instagram. I see some reel about how it's gonna be, how how easy it is and fun it is to start a car detailing business, or how to start a marketing agency, or to trade crypto, or to trade equities, or to be a streamer, or to create content. And I've done all these things, and they're exciting at first, and I go super deep into it. But instead of actually taking action on the things that kind of push it forward, I spend so much time preparing to go live with the product, which is kind of why I'm glad for this video journal, because I had the same thing. Well, I had the same thought here of like, okay, well, now I'm a stay-at-home dad, so I'm not going to be like literally the first thought I had in my mind when the decision was to become a stay-at-home dad wasn't, okay, like now I'm going to figure out what the routine is going to be for the kids, or let's find some cool activities to do with the kids at home, or in the community. My first thought was, I want to be a stay-at-home dad content creator, right? That was the first thought that I had, which is a whole other, I guess, conversation in itself, of this idea of me thinking I'm like the hero or protagonist of my own story, which I don't really know how to think about that, because I was super Debbie Downer about it the past couple of days, whereas now I'm kind of thinking, okay, but like if I think I'm like the villain or the bad guy or just some peasant, like how's that going to serve me in the future? But anyways, digressing, going on a tangent. This idea of me wanting to create the content, and then the first thought in my mind was like, okay, well now I need to make it super professional, and I've got to create a whole backlog of content and a business plan, and basically a whole slew of things that I need to do besides just clicking record and doing the video. And so I kind of had this shift in my mind was, okay, let's not necessarily do this. Like, number one, that's probably you focusing on the wrong thing, right? Like this idea is you need a realistic side hustle. Being a stay-at-home dad content creator is not a realistic side hustle. So that's I like, and that's still something I'm kind of working on. It's like, yeah, that'd be awesome. It'd be super cool if I could just be an influencer, but like everyone thinks that, and again, that's what I know that's me. Like this is something that's super difficult. I know that's me falling back into old habits of focusing on the incorrect thing, and but it's so hard because like I want to do it. I know in the past I've done content before and it's done really well, but that's something I'm kind of still debating. But it's like right now, like I'm obviously already recording videos. I think I've done, I don't know, 5 or 6 so far. No, I think this is number 7 or 8. But I mean, I've done it for the past 2 weeks. I've actually recorded the videos, as opposed to spending the 2 weeks or a month like preparing everything, like making the YouTube channel. Like I remember one of the first potential side hustles I was doing was like becoming a streamer, and I would go live, which is kind of the easier part. But I remember I spent so much time before I started making like actual content to kind of funnel people to the stream on like making a logo and like the little like like the like setting up what's that software called? It's not Streamlabs or whatever that software you use to set your screens up, and you have your fancy overlays and the little box around your head, and you gotta connect Twitch to it to get your subs. And I have 0 subs, 0 followers, 0 donations. But I gotta have that animation look right, and making sure it pops on the screen in the right spot, and it's got a good sound, and like all these things that are completely irrelevant to like me getting a viewership. I just go super deep into these things, and kind of because like I just still have some of those things saved in my computer, and it's just so funny because I never even ended up getting any traction whatsoever. But I invested countless hours into that, and so I kind of started my side hustle career by doing that, and that's kind of been a recurring theme throughout the side hustle. So yeah, just so many examples. And then the other thing which I want to talk about, not in this video, but maybe tomorrow, or if it were to come up, is kind of the flip side of this, which is this idea of kind of the path of least resistance. So it's kind of like two competing things where I do work super hard because I'm focusing on the wrong things, but then on the flip side, I'm lazily trying to find my way to accomplish said goal with the least amount of work as possible, which is good in some cases, but not in all. But yeah, I'm gonna go. That was super rambly, which is fine. This is just for me. But the core idea itself of whatever I do next, I can't rush into it. I have to make sure I'm actually focusing on a realistic thing. And then when I do it, I cannot make a website. I cannot make a website for a long time because I will get lost in that website. I will spend weeks and weeks perfecting that website that no one's probably going to see. So we'll pause there and we'll be back. Like over here, geeking out on myself, laughing as all these memories pop up of all these just absurd and ridiculous things that I did on this idea of just focusing on the wrong things. And I think it kind of relates to another issue I have, which is the idea of going like 0 to 100, back down to 0, right? So I'm focusing on one thing, and I find something else. Instead of easing into it or being patient, I just go all in, like so aggressively. And then over time, I don't ease out of it. I don't kind of think, oh, maybe this isn't the right thing, but I'm gonna stick to it. It's like, no, like once a singular doubt comes into my mind, I just am out. Or if I find something else, on the other side of the fence with potentially greener grass, I do that. Like I've jumped. I mean, my life from a side hustle perspective is just a long line of grass and fence and grass and fence and grass and fence. I mean, even as far back as I can remember, like when I got my first job out of college, um, and I was staying in a hotel for training. I got my first paycheck, and I went to the store to buy some stuff, and I wanted to buy, get a celebratory beer. So instead of just getting a beer, or even like a 6 pack of beer, again by myself, I bought, 24 pack of Blue Moon, and 24 pack of Heineken, and 24 pack of Bud Light Lime, and so I've got, uh, you know, 60 plus beers in my, 72 beers in my fridge, and of course I drank them. I drank them all over time, but it's like, why? Why did it go 0 to 100? I know it's a silly example, but uh, the other thing is, I remember I wanted to become a streamer. So instead of just streaming on a laptop that I had and getting a proof of concept, like no, I went out and I buy a streaming PC, and I buy the gaming chair, and I buy them a nice microphone and a nice headset, and I had to get a light and a green screen. Actually, I didn't get a green screen for that. I had a green screen for something different. Um, Car detailing. I didn't just, have some microfiber cloths and all-purpose cleaner, which you can use for everything on the inside of the car. I had to get a leather cleaner. I had to get a fabric cleaner. I had to get, I spend so much money on the car detailing thing, like thousands and thousands of dollars, buying all the fancy interior and exterior cleaners. I was constantly watching videos on, what's the best leather cleaner, what's the best way to clean leather versus fabric versus the carpet. And again, instead of just using an all-purpose cleaner and everything, I had a three-stage carpet, a three-stage carpet cleaning approach where you spray the one thing on, then you let it sit, and then you spray something else, and you clean it, and then at the end you gotta neutralize it, so you spray something else, and all these different brushes for the inside and the outside, all these things, and I had zero clients yet. I was just washing my own car. It's just I don't know why I do that, and so like I cannot do that for this next thing. I have to, as the AI said, ease into it. I can't invest any money into it. I can't invest in insane amount of time into silly things that don't matter. I have to focus on the correct things in the actual correct order, and not get sucked into this 0 to 100 thing, like 0 to 5 very slowly over time, which I think fits well with my schedule now too, since I am staying at home with the kids. I'm only going to have a couple of hours per day to work, if that. And so, it's almost impossible to get sucked into that idea of spending, 5 straight hours for 2 weeks straight on a website, because I don't have time. So I think what happens is in the moment I just black out. And then I'm like in this blacked out phase of, because I remember for the websites, I would start working on it, and I had this idea of I'm gonna make it. I told myself I'm gonna make it super simple, because it's not necessary to have it super in depth. And the next thing you know, it's a month later, and I've got 7, 8 different pages, and I'm color schemes and different dividers and pictures and stuff, and I don't know. I think I just black out, and then all day I'm thinking about this website, and nothing else matters. And it just, what's interesting is I feel like that's actually a good trait to have, like this obsessive compulsive disorder, I guess, where you are super obsessive for something. I just need to direct it at the correct things, which I guess I have. There's examples of me directing it at the correct things in the past, like when I was a police officer. I watched every single episode of Live PD on YouTube, all of them. I have no clue how many there are, but hundreds of these things. I was constantly watching body cams. I bought all these books on how to become a better police officer, and I was crushing it. I was super good at it. I really liked it. It's just I had to leave, for family reasons, obviously. And the same thing with CrossFit. Like I got super into CrossFit, constantly watching videos on nutrition and recovery and how to get stronger. And I was in the gym 3 hours a day. All I thought about at work. My boss was in the CrossFit. We talked about CrossFit for hours. I was super into it, and I did really well at it. But then I quit because I quit because of a girl, but that's a whole other conversation. So I do have examples in the past I can point to of I went super deep into things with this obsessive compulsive disorder, I guess, and it did lead to something. It's just from a business perspective, it's never really worked out because there's so many things that you can focus on outside of like what actually moves the dial forward. And then I guess one last thing, I don't want to make these super long, just because I want to make sure I'm actually working out, and if I do spend so much time recording these videos, then that's like taking time away from other things. But I just going on that tangent, I forgot what I was gonna say, so maybe that's a good thing. What was I gonna say? That's the issue. I go on these tangents and I forget, and I've got my 4-week-old in the background. I can't tell if he's waking up or not. So what was I talking about? I was talking about how I get super deep into things. If I can actually direct it at the correct thing, then that would be good. And then I said I wanted to say one more thing. I don't know. See, I got super obsessive compulsive disorder about my tangent that I forgot what I was going to say. So we'll pause there. I think my 4-week-old is waking up, and then we'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with more. So I want to talk about this idea of me, like path of least resistance for everything, and how that's another issue that I have as well. But all right, I'm done.